Owing to the injury of Gabriel Jesus in the World Cup 2022 in the Brazil national team, Arsenal has been actively on the market trying to look for a striker who could replace him in the January transfer window so that they can be able to salvage their season as they are the top leaders in the Premier League. I mean the league leaders in the Premier League. Arsenal has been looking on a couple of strikers, including Dusan Vlahovic, Mateus Cunha, and Joao Felix. So in this video today, we want to see our chances of signing Joao Felix and for how much and why the signing would make a lot of sense. Now, if you're here for the first time, please hit the subscribe button, and if you are watching the video for the first time again, or if you always watch my videos, please hit the like button so that the algorithm can be able to suggest the video to many more people so that we can grow this community together, and you'll be highly appreciated. Thank you very much. Now, how much is the transfer of Joao Felix to Arsenal going to cost? That is the question that most people have been asking themselves ever since Arsenal have been linked with the player, because we know he's a very talented young player and there's a host of teams that are coming for him, and also he was a very expensive signing for Atletico 4 years ago. Is it 3 or 4 years ago or something? And there's a lot of people who have been thinking or saying that Arsenal cannot be able to afford Joao Felix. But the surprise is Arsenal could sign Joao Felix for 8 million in January. But the deal has to be on loan, because Arsenal is not able to. Atletico is actually looking to offload him in January just to ease the tension between him and the manager, Simeone. So the tension has been so high, so much so that the president of Atletico actually talked about it, and he was feeling very sorry for the poor lad. But again, in situations like this, when normally a player has a problem with the manager, it's normally the player that is normally sacrificed, unless the coach has a problem with many different players, is when you see the manager walking out on the team. But in this case, it's only Joao Felix and Diego Simeone who are not seeing eye to eye. So the only option for Joao Felix is to walk out. So why do you think the move would make a lot of sense for Arsenal? One is because Arsenal need to replace Gabriel Jesus, because Jesus has been very important for Arsenal, and he's been the most outstanding Arsenal player this season. I know many would argue and say Xhaka, Gabriel Martinelli, Gabriel Magalhaes or something, Saliba, but then the most focal person in our attack has been Gabriel Jesus, and now that he's out on injury, I think it's time that we go and find his replacement sooner rather than later, because if Arsenal do not do that, it's not like, no disrespect to Nketiah, well, he looks to have a very good future, but then Arsenal need a proven star who can be able to score goals. And in as much as Joao Felix has not been scoring the goals in Atletico, we can blame it on the system, because the system that Atletico plays has limited so many players, so many attacking players from scoring. So I think this move would make a lot of sense. So let me know in the comments if you think Joao Felix move in January would make a lot of sense. Well, rumors has it that Atletico wants an initial loan signing for 8 million, but then the option, I mean, there's not going to be an obligation to sign the player at the end of the season, but I think maybe a team can be able to negotiate for an option to buy. Now, I think Arsenal should go for an option to buy and not an obligation, because we don't know how he's going to fare on, and it's going to be a very, very expensive signing. So we don't want to have a repeat of what happened with Pepe, spending a lot of money and then getting a player that is not hitting the goals that we require. Then the second reason why I think Arsenal should sign Joao Felix is because Felix would add that ruthless edge to Arsenal. It will scare. It will be a scary warning to the opponents. So the opponents will be scared when facing Arsenal because they know the quality of Joao Felix. We all know the quality of Joao Felix, so I don't need to overstate what he can do. So that is two. And then three, it will be an added advantage in terms of depth and his versatility. He can play on anywhere across the attacking front. He can play on the right wing, he can play as a centre forward, he can play as a false nine, he can play as a number 10, he can also play as a left winger. So those are the three reasons I think Arsenal should sign Joao Felix. So let me know in the comments if you think there is any other reason why Arsenal should sign Joao Felix, and whether you think it's a good move or good idea for Arsenal to sign Joao Felix. Again, I'm reminding you to subscribe if you're here for the first time, and also like the video so that the algorithm can be able to suggest this video to many, many more people. Thank you for watching, and may God bless. May you enjoy your Christmas holiday. Adios.